Hey guys, this is Andre and Soli. We are a husband and wife, Christian couple, married with a tiny baby who's actually looking at us right now.
If you hear something, he has drumsticks. He's very happy, and so we're just letting him play with that. Oh.
So today we just wanted to talk about why we can't find a spouse, why women can't seem to find a good husband, and why men can't seem to find a good wife.
Yeah, you hear all the time from people, there are no more godly men, there are no more godly women. And so we just want to talk about why people feel that way and why that actually is or isn't the case.
I'll talk from the perspective of a man and why men can't seem to find good women, and then later on you can talk for the women. A lot of men simply are not looking for a wife. What they're looking for is someone to take care of them, either financially, even if they think about it as let's split it 50-50 down the middle, that's still thinking about it as she's going to take care of me, because as a guy, you're supposed to think, I'm going to financially take care of my wife, because that's your duty, that's your role as a husband. And again, this is from a Christian perspective. So that's one of the reasons why, is because the guys today are not looking for a wife. You know, they're looking for a mama, someone who will take care of them. That would be one way.
That's hardcore. I didn't know you did metal. So I say from the girl's perspective, there's just a lot of women that aren't marriage material. I know that is kind of like a broad thing to say, but what a lot of people don't realize is that you attract the type of person who is attracted to the type of person that you are.
Yes.
So if you are going through lots of relationships, breaking up, having lots of just you feel like you can never get a man, or you feel like, why is nobody attracted to me even though I'm this type of person? This isn't always the case, because, you know, sometimes there's just not people in your circle, but a lot of times women just aren't that great. They're just not a good woman.
A good wife.
A good wifey material. And you know, they do things like they're controlling, they're manipulative, they have these freak out sessions, they, you know, all those types of things. And even if you are a Christian girl, you can still struggle with those things, and that's not going to be attractive to a godly guy. And in the long run, you know, even if you do marry somebody, a lot of times those marriages end up being super, super just rough in the beginning or for a long period of time, because the truth is neither of you are really ready to be in that marriage or that relationship, because you weren't the type of person. You still had these things that you needed to really work out and like to reflect on yourself and to change, but you didn't. And so you attracted that type of person.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, for the men, another reason why you are not able to find a wife, the reality is that for both men and women, the reality is that for both men and women,
What you gotta say, Carlos?
Oh.
Hey, you can't drum on my face, Mr. Baby.
The reality is that if you are a guy or a girl, the reason why you can't find someone is because you have not upped the level of who you are, whether that be spiritually, physically, taking care of your health, or just, you know, putting yourself out there. So for men, what I would say is a big reason why you can't find a wife is because you still have childish habits that you haven't gotten rid of. I know a lot of guys that still have those childish habits, like playing video games all night long and not even going to sleep because they're playing video games. And those kinds of things really are childlike and childish. So you don't want to have those things still in play. I'm not saying playing video games is an evil thing, but if you're spending hours upon hours playing video games, you might want to check why you're doing that. Is it a form of escapism? What is it about that habit that is really holding you down? So those are the types of things you want to check and make sure that you don't have those things, because a quality woman, a quality wife is going to look at those things and she's probably going to be put off by that.
Yeah. Okay, so what a lot of women do is they want this great godly guy who's going to provide for them and who's going to lead them. And what they don't realize is that their expectations of what a godly man is completely warped. So a lot of them see like I don't even know how to explain it, but they like see these guys that
Like
are
Tim
like
Tebow or something.
yeah, like Tim Tebow, or I'm thinking along the lines of like Hillsong or like Elevation or something, where you see these guys like worshiping on stage and they're like jumping around and they're like crying, they're getting really excited and they're like, you gotta be in the Word, and they're on their Instagram.
And I love Jesus, and
they
like
got their
Jesus
little
is dope.
God is dope, and they got their little like journal Bibles, and they're like, did you journal today? And they're like super hipster. What they don't realize is, one, that is super effeminate. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's a pretty effeminate way
What
of being.
things?
Like,
Because I'm sure people are gonna be wondering like why you said that. About
just like the whole like hyper emotionalism, and
yeah,
a lot of those guys are like super into like their fashion and stuff.
yeah,
but
like
not
this,
even that. Not
like the skinny jeans.
yeah,
and like
into like the aesthetic and stuff. And I'm not even talking about just those guys, because you can still be looking for the wrong thing and not just those types of guys. But what they don't realize is that you can still find a godly man that is not emotional at all, that he doesn't cry, maybe he doesn't sing during worship even. Like, I know that's crazy and that's profound. They're expecting a guy to be like, let's get in the Word together, let's pray together, blah blah blah. But that's not necessarily the mark of a godly Christian man. Like, we did pray together and we did read the Bible a little bit together, but it wasn't like a huge part of our dating relationship. But that doesn't mean that God wasn't a huge part of our dating relationship. He was. It was super important to us, our relationship with God in our time of dating. But it didn't look like that. I never saw Andre. I mean, Andre's not an emotional person. He doesn't get hyped for Jesus like that. He does love Jesus, and he does get excited about God and the gospel and stuff, but not like that. But a lot of women are thinking, if he gets emotional like that, if he does this and that,
if he
and
cries during worship,
that means he's a real godly man. And that does not mean he's a real godly man. That could all just be emotional. But anyways, that's my point.
Okay. You're like, that's my point, I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. And these blueberries taste good.
If you hear a little in the back, that's Carlos.
Oh, not me.
So another reason why men can't find a wife, or at least a good wife, is because they're not looking for a family. They are looking for, again, someone that was going to take care of him, or that's going to be a companion, instead of looking for a family. Basically someone who's going to be the mother of their children. Because the type of person that would want to be with a godly masculine man is not going to be looking for a guy that wants to travel the world and that's his mission. It's like, I want to travel the world and I want a yacht. I think that's okay, that's fine. But if that's your mission, if that's your goal when you marry someone, as opposed to having a family, because a lot of guys think of life as, oh, I want to travel and like I want to have a lot of money so that I can enjoy that money with like a pretty girl, adventure with my pretty girl. And it's like, that's not really what life is about, or at least it shouldn't be. I'm not saying you can't enjoy those things and do those things, but of course that's not the mission, that's not the vision. The vision is to have a family, to have offspring, so that you can show those values to your children and your future children. If you're not looking to grow your family, then that is probably a deterrent from a good woman.
As a side note, it's so interesting that you mentioned that, because it just goes to show like how far we've gotten from like what marriage actually is, because now it's turned into this like, oh, you just go on fun adventures together, and it's like sleepovers with your favorite weirdo, like, I don't know if it's like a Pinterest thing. Yeah, it's about having a family. And that kind of leads into my next little thing, is that women aren't looking to have children and to be mothers. That's not their end goal, and to be wives and mothers. A lot of Christian women, because we're talking about Christians specifically, they want to get married, but a lot of them aren't thinking about the mission of marriage and like becoming a wife and becoming a mother and like that being your life's purpose and your life's calling. They're still thinking, oh, my life's calling is whatever career I have. My life's calling is this degree, and I'm supposed to pursue that for the rest of my life. And so the type of godly man that you want to marry is not looking for a woman who doesn't want to have kids and who just wants her career to be her everything. He's looking for a woman that will want to be a wife and a mother, will want to submit to him, will want to do things like cook for him and take care of the house while he works and all those types of things. So we really women just need to get out of that mindset of, it's a feminist mindset. It's not a Christian mindset. I don't care how many times you tell me, oh, God has a different calling for everybody. So every time I talk about this kind of thing on my Instagram, women get really upset. They're like, well, not every woman wants to be a mother. And it's like, well, every wife should become a mother. You don't have to want to be a mother now, but you should be open to changing and living by God's design for marriage.
Yes, if you're married, of course.
Yeah, if you're married. And so a lot of people get mad. They're like, everybody's calling is different, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care that people say that. They say that to me all the time. And I'm like, well,
their calling can be different if they are a baby. If you're a child, it's different. And then once you grow up, you have the gift of singleness or celibacy. That means you are literally not dating anyone, Mm-hmm. But most people are going to get married. And so what happens when they get married? And when you get married, you should have a family. That's what God calls us to do when you get married.
Yeah, but a lot of women aren't thinking like that. And honestly, what it is, it's not a Christian mindset. It's a feminist mindset. And women need to ditch that. They just need to forget it. And they need to follow God's commands.
Yes. One last thing that I think both men and women, it might apply a little bit more for women just because I think men are more visual, but that is to take care of your physical appearance. A lot of men are overweight and very overweight and they can't seem to find a wife. And even worse than overweight, I think a lot of men don't take care of themselves physically. They don't shave or they don't take care of their beard. It looks all scruffy and gross. They don't shower or they don't put on deodorant. They don't eat well. They have maybe skin problems.
Messing with the Cajun seasoning.
Oh, it's gone. So a lot of men don't really take care of their physical appearance, and women notice that. Women notice when you're wearing the same shirt 4 days in a row, and you're going out and you're like, hey, what's going on? And it smells a little funky. Women notice all those things. Mm-hmm. So all those things I've noticed that men don't take care of, and it just works in their detriment.
Yeah, and for women too, it's really important. I think, a huge thing that's being promoted is being overweight. And I'm not saying you have to be like skinny mini, whatever. A lot of guys do like a little bit of curve. But it's just really important that you take care of yourself and you don't want to be obese. It's not really going to be attractive. If you think as a Christian woman your pool of men that are going to be attracted to you is small, then if you add being super overweight to that, it just gets even smaller. Having like gross nails or not shaving your armpits. Different things like that. Not just being immodest, showing off so much skin. That's also not going to be attractive to.
Yeah, well, actually, I would have to say that most guys can't really tell, even Christian guys. A lot of Christian guys, when a girl shows skin, all they think is nice, So obviously, you won't attract the right kind of guy if you're dressing that way. You will attract some guys, but what we're talking about is finding a good wife, finding a good husband.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching. We know that having children makes making videos a lot harder, but trust me, it is way worth it. If you guys think about just having babies, how could you not want this little tea? Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.